Hello, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Wednesday, June 1st. Today, I'd like to talk about the best laid plans. I don't know about you, but I have, for the most of my life, well, all my life, been pretty stringent about having plans. I have lists, I have lists of lists, I have notes everywhere, I have everything detailed, I have an idea, I know what I want to do. One of the best things that ever happened to me when I married my husband was he started to teach me military things and the reverse timeline. So if you want to leave for the cottage on Saturday at 8:30, then what do you have to do first thing that morning? What do you have to do, backing it up until you know what you have to start doing right now? I am the queen of reverse timelines. Until now, I have learned that I don't know how to move. Everything I thought I knew is out the window. Part of that's because we've always been moved. Military and church have always come in. They packed us. They set the timeline. They do everything, and then I just unpack stuff at the end. Today marks the day we're supposed to be out of our house, our old house. But our landlord called on Monday night and said, there's nobody buying it yet. You take a couple extra days if you want. Guess what happened to my brain? Everything went ping, 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 ping. Yay, more time. Which leaves me today after our final Bible study in Wainwright and our lunch at the Honey Pot, our local eatery that we go to almost every Wednesday together. After that, I'll be going back to the old house to clean the last two bathrooms and empty, there's three bathrooms in that house, and empty the rest of the contents. They've got, the kitchen stuff and the cleaning supplies and things like that, and just sort of vacuum my way out. Probably have 3 carloads worth of stuff to bring over. And I'm tired. And I should have had it done yesterday. But I just didn't. Couldn't do it. Couldn't handle it. And that's not a bad thing. Because the best laid plans make sure there's no room for spontaneity. There's no room for the spirit to move. There's no room for a hiccup in the world to happen. And for things to go sideways. And sometimes sideways is awesome. As I said, I have always been a very organized person. I've got, I know what I'm doing. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but that doesn't mean I don't have a plan. Part of my plan is the procrastination is in the plan. I know that of myself. But I'm learning in the last little while, quite a bit actually. In the pandemic too, it happened a lot because the normal routine and rhythm of everything was so messed up that I learned what to do when I have to go crash banging through things, like filming 3 or 4 weeks of church all together at once, which means writing sermons ahead of time and prayers of the people and getting people organized and everything, and then having 2 or 3 weeks of nothing, traditional anything, because everything, my editor was my husband. He had time to do all that work. So I learned a lot about sort of flying by the seat of your pants and learning that sometimes the list, the plan, has to be thrown out the window. And being able to do that, being able to let go and let loose and just be and know that what's going to happen. What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen for us right now is that our landlord will come in, change the locks. But he lives in another province. That's not going to happen. And he's already said to us we can have a couple more days, which is incredible, which is great. And if the hydro gets turned off as it was supposed to be, I think I called it to have it turned off, then I'll just be cleaning in the dark. I won't be able to see the dirt. There you go. But this idea of, what's going to happen if the plan breaks? What's going to happen if every single thing that I've planned doesn't happen the way it's supposed to happen? As my husband always says, what are they going to do? Take away your birthday? Are you going to get fired for making a mistake? In my job, not likely. I make lots of mistakes. I've never been fired. There's forgiveness. There's an understanding that, everybody makes mistakes or people get caught up in something or things go sideways, things happen and you can't get things done. What happens when somebody pops into your life? I was driving home on Monday after picking up the dog in Vermilion at the kennel, and it's about 40 minutes away. And my phone rang in the car, and it wasn't Rob. It wasn't a number I knew, so I answered the phone, and it was a parishioner from my Wainwright church asking me if it would be okay if she brought over some dinner. Easy to eat, doesn't need to be heated up. Just you can even eat with your fingers for the most part. And my gut instinct was to say, oh, no, thank you. It's great. We're fine. Then I realized, no, why would I do that? I don't have a plan for supper, and even if I did, this is a generous offer of somebody who understands what it is to move like this. And so, of course, I said yes. And we had a great meal standing up in our old kitchen, the old house, eating ham and potatoes and vegetables and some really good desserts, and really just had almost like a picnic, which we wouldn't have had if I'd stuck to my plan, which would have meant probably making a peanut butter sandwich at 10 o'clock at night. So the Holy Spirit moved in, moved a parishioner to call me and say, hey, can I bring you supper tonight? Because I know how hard this is. And we benefited. I have a new appreciation for this parishioner, and I need to send her a thank you note once I can find them. But I also got to have a wee picnic with my husband, just a spontaneous thing where we took 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just relaxed with the dog playing in the backyard and just appreciated this wonderful spontaneous gift. Being able to be open to when things don't happen the way you plan them to happen takes flexibility that I don't have usually, but it's growing. I'm getting better. But it also takes a realization that we don't control everything. And if you're the kind of personality I have, control is huge. I love having control. I like knowing what to expect. I like knowing what's expected of me. I like to know how to do things. When someone else is going to do it, that they're going to do it right, they're going to do it on time. I love having everything just so. It keeps me calm, helps me to feel secure. But I'm beginning to realize that kind of security is stifling. Having that much control on life sort of chokes the life out of life. Sometimes you just got to relax and let it happen. Let those best laid plans fly away in the wind and see what happens. Now, there are times when we can't do that for doctor's appointments or illnesses or, somebody else is relying on us. But really, how many times in your life, how many times during your day do you stick to the plan simply because it's the plan, rather than stop and smell the roses or listen to children playing, watch a bird as it flies around or builds its nest, or simply just close your eyes and listen to nothing? Or imagine or remember what it was like to be 4 years old before you started school, and life was life was out before you, and anything you could imagine was possible. What would happen if you just took a little bit of time away from your plan? And please don't add taking time away from your plan to your plan, because it's something I would do and I don't recommend it. But take some time today just to relax and allow the Spirit to move you. Allow yourself to be surprised by joy. Allow yourself to have a moment to just breathe deeply. Maybe take 5 minutes and put up your feet and take deep breaths and let out the stress that's carrying around your shoulders, your chest, and your feet and your stomach, and just be at peace, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Because all those urgent things, those things on your plan, they'll still be there. If they're really urgent, they'll still be there. And you can get them done later. But just taking a couple of minutes can really change your perspective and give you an opportunity to see something that maybe you hadn't seen before because you're so busy looking at your list. And I speak as a pro at this. I speak from experience. I am learning through this move and through other things in my life that the best laid plans are not necessarily God's plans. And God's plans, I've learned, are always better than mine. And the best part is when I align myself with God's plans, then not only do I appreciate it, but I understand it more and I get more out of it. So think about what your best laid plans are. Think about your plan of action for today. And then either be prepared to scrap parts of it or all of it, or at least when you're aware that you're running yourself ragged, take time to just take some deep breaths and relax and remember that if it's really important, it'll get done. And if it's somebody relying on you, they'll let you know. You don't have to bail on life. You just have to take some time to be and allow yourself to recognize that as much as we might want to be, we're not the center of the universe. Life will go on. Everything else that will need to happen will happen. maybe just a little bit differently. Just a thought. I just stole that from Bo. I apologize, Bo. I love it though. That just a thought idea. But I'm just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. So today, as I go about my Bible study, and I appreciate this last one before the summer, and I eat a wonderful, scrumptious lunch, probably fish and chips, because it's what I eat every Wednesday at the Honey Pot. I'm very much routine oriented as well as being a planning person. But I will take time. I'll open up the windows and I'll put on my radio and I will sing my little heart out as I clean bathrooms and as I haul stuff to my car and move it back and forth. And I'll take time to play with my dog one last time in that backyard and just think about the last almost 2 years, the time I've had in that house that began in the pandemic and ended now, and the gifts it has brought to my life. None of them, including moving, were plans that I had made. But lots of stuff happened that I never would have thought of that have made my life so much better. For instance, I never would have thought I'd have a YouTube channel and people to talk to like this. So thank you. Have a great day. And may your best laid plans be taken care of appropriately the way they need to be in God's hands. Just go along for the ride. God bless. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for Church of Town with Rachael on Thursday.